So last week, WMBB ran a story, and I'm going to share it with you. So I don't even know where to begin. I really don't even know where to begin. I got to act like this is normal. Everybody's acting like it's normal. Let me know if you can hear the show okay, because it seems to me that it may not be working all that well. I know we've had a few internet problems, so I'll be looking at your comments. Let me know if there's any problems. If it's all working well, I'm going to go ahead and tell the story because it's unbelievable. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars, but now even former Mayor Cathey, the former mayor of Mexico Beach, the longtime mayor of Mexico Beach, I think he was first elected around 2005, and he lost to Michelle Miller in a big surprise upset in April. And since then, the new mayor has had a hell of a time taking a look at all of the financials for the city. And the city is delinquent in its annual financial audit, and it's now late in this year's financial audit. So what did the three councilmen do? They went on vacation. They weren't at the last meeting. There were 3 empty seats at the scheduled meeting. The former finance director and now councilman, Adrian Welly, he's evidently on a cruise. They all said it's so urgent that we have to get the audit going, that we have to, hire a city administrator, that we've got to get an accountant, And they got sued by the current mayor in a lawsuit that is simply saying it's an injunction and a writ of mandamus. The writ of mandamus part is you got to do what you're supposed to do and give the CFO, the mayor in Mexico Beach, according to their city charter, access to the financials, and an injunction saying you've got to stop doing what you're not supposed to be doing, like preventing her from having access to the financials. Well, evidently enough access to the financials has been obtained that we learned that the mayor who owns, the former mayor, Cathey, who owns Ace Hardware there. Remember, Mexico Beach received more than $100 million in FEMA money. You would think the feds would be really interested in this. You'd think Sheriff Tommy Ford and his public trust unit would be super interested in this. You'd think State Attorney Larry Bassford, the top prosecutor in 6 counties, you'd think he'd be super interested in this, but they're not. What they are super interested in, though, is putting developer James Finch in prison for life for writing a $5,000 check to a councilman in 2017 as a business loan. The feds call it a business loan, okay? So that he could loan Lynn Haven $4.4 million at half the interest rate over 30 years before Hurricane Michael to fix a road that was so dangerous a woman crashed and died in a big ditch. It was a 5-0 vote, but all of their energy, all of their treasure, all of their resources has been focused on that. Meanwhile, we find out, and by the way, the former mayor of Lynn Haven, Margot Anderson, who was initially indicted on 64 bogus charges, all dropped. She was never accused of getting money from the city. They were charging her with honest services fraud. It sort of feels like, to me, honestly, honest services fraud, that we have law enforcement and prosecutors, federal and state, that have told a judge that Bay County is more corrupt than New Orleans and New Jersey, but don't do anything about it. They just sit and look at their watches and think, God, I hope statute of limitations runs out soon. Now, Al Cathey, the former mayor of Mexico Beach, who owns Ace Hardware and who got hundreds of thousands of dollars from the city of Mexico Beach, he says it's all legal. All right? It's all legal. Yeah, it was a FEMA project, but the city bought a bunch of stuff from Ace Hardware. And all the public documents are available for you to see. I don't know all the details about this. I don't know if the mayor can also be a vendor of the city. I don't know if the mayor's Ace Hardware submitted a bid and had to compete with other vendors, and if the bids were opened in a sealed opening. I don't know, but it's just unbelievable. I guess all the lumber to rebuild the boat ramp or the pavilion was Ace Hardware lumber. Well, Bernie, it's right down the street. Makes sense. You're telling me WMBB, who made all kinds of wild and reckless and malicious accusations against the mayor of Lynn Haven so that the sheriff and y'all could remove her to get your guy in there. You made all kinds of what? You said that she got a free RV and showed it on loop more than 100 times. And then they figured out, well, damn, her husband did pay for it like they said, and so they returned the RV. They got the RV back. I mean, talking about stupid stuff. But a mayor who is also a vendor of the city, kind of like in Panama City Beach. I know the feds and the sheriff's office know all about that because I know they have. I know they know. But now I look at Facebook and Sheriff Tommy Ford's getting Gulf Coast Jam tickets delivered to the sheriff's office. I mean, damn, guys. Everything in me not to tell you more. But a lot of unbelievable. It's not a big deal, Bernie, that they had the documents. He bid for it. WMBB's arguing. You want to see? I'll show you. I'm going to show you the story. So last week they interviewed former Mayor Al Cathey, and he said, for a second I thought it was J.R. Ewing, but I looked again, it was Al Cathey. And Al Cathey says, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? All right, I'm just going to show you. I'll stop talking about it. And it was in response to the sworn statement from the former finance director. She was hired by the city a few months ago. They wouldn't give her the tools to do her job, so the city fell in delinquency on its annual audit. And then the three amigos, who are all on vacation. The vice mayor right now, tell me if these things don't make you go, maybe somebody should look into this. The vice mayor right now in Mexico Beach, Richard Iron Fist Wolf, is on a 3-week RV vacation while the city is delinquent in last year's financial audit, while a judge ordered that they have to respond to Mayor Miller's lawsuit within 20 days, and he goes on a 21-day RV vacation. Evidently, Adrian Welly is on a cruise, and Jerry Bad Liability Smith, he's in Georgia. The only people working for the city council right now is Mayor Miller and Councilwoman Linda Hamilton. Even the city attorney's gone. Clinton McCahill's gone. He wasn't there at the last scheduled meeting. Do you trust? Let me ask you something. If you are accused of breaking the law, or if you do something, I don't even know how to say this. I guess I'll say it this way. if a mayor is also the concert promoter, and they keep changing the contract for him when it's illegal to do that for Gulf Coast Jam, and he continues to make startup money for 11 years from the Tourist Development Council, $1.5 million a year for years. That's a long, you got to admit, that's a long time for seed money. I mean, you say it's got to be a conflict of interest, but the local sheriff's office and the FBI, everybody says, no, it's okay. We're getting tickets. You have a mayor in Mexico Beach. The town is demolished by Hurricane Michael. They get $100 million, and the mayor's been getting hundreds of thousands of dollars as a vendor. The mayor's a vendor. Is that legal? Does that deserve criticism or at least scrutiny? Not according to Sheriff Tommy Ford. No, not according to WMBB. They did a story and they said, look, the mayor says that the broad who was only hired for 50 days didn't know what she was talking about. It was misinformation. I'll show you. Let's thank our sponsors and then be ready to see this story.
Hand caught in the cookie jar? Sometimes bad habits continue even into adulthood. I'm El Saline, 850-215-0628. Let me help you.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. All right, here it is, WMBB. Former Mayor Al Cathey speaks out about the sworn statement that says that he got hundreds of thousands of dollars as a vendor while he was the mayor after Hurricane Michael. See what they have to say.
Beach Mayor Al Cathey is responding to a sworn statement that's part of current Mayor Michelle Miller's lawsuit against the city.
Former City Finance Director Michelle Lucas claims that Cathey and his hardware store benefited from the city. But as News 13's Courtney Evans tells us, Cathey says all of those transactions were legitimate and the claims are not true.
As part of her legal actions against Mexico Beach, Mayor Michelle Miller has included a statement from the city's former finance director, Michelle Lucas. During her 51 days on the job this summer, Lucas claims she found what she claims are irregularities in city spending dating back to 2022 under former Mayor Al Cathey.
I was taken back that someone that's uninformed and unaware of things that had happened in our city and how easily it is to find the right documentation would make such statements.
Lucas points out a pavilion built at the Mexico Beach boat ramp. She claims the project should have been put out for bid. Cathey says it was put out for bid.
It was bid out under the FEMA guidelines. All of that documentation is so easily and readily available at City Hall. North Florida Construction was awarded the bid. They asked us to quote some material. We quoted it. We agreed to do a direct purchase agreement with the city to save the tax savings.
We requested the bid and the contract with North Florida Construction, and we received all 178 pages. Lucas also expressed
By the way, I got that as well, but I didn't get 188 pages. I got 178 pages. Isn't that interesting? And by the way, I want you to listen to the former mayor of Mexico Beach again. He said that this was a FEMA project and that the contractor, North Florida Construction, asked Ace Hardware, how did he word this? Let's see how he worded this again.
Concerns about transferring money from one line to another.
North Florida Construction was awarded under the FEMA guidelines. All of that documentation is so easily and readily available at City Hall. North Florida Construction was awarded the bid. They asked us to quote some material. We quoted it. We agreed to do a direct purchase.
They asked the mayor to quote some material after. So North Florida Construction is awarded the bid, meaning that the mayor voted on. They had to vote on that. Here's an interesting question, if you could help me find the answer to it. Did Mayor Al Cathey recuse himself from that particular vote, or did he vote to give the contract to North Florida Construction? And if he did, then North Florida Construction turns around and says, hey, Mayor, we know you own Ace Hardware here in Mexico Beach. Can we get some stuff from you? I mean, that's how it works?
Disagreement with
one more time.
Points out a pavilion built at the Mexico Beach boat ramp. She claims the project should have been put out for bid. Cathey says it was put out for bid.
It was bid out under the FEMA guidelines. All of that documentation is so easily and readily available.
But did you bid? Did Ace Hardware bid to supply materials for the contractor that he voted to get the award? Did the mayor bid to supply equipment? How much was the lumber and equipment? Is that required? Does it have to be a sealed bid? There seems to be a few questions here, WMBB. How is a mayor also a vendor to a construction company that they voted on for a FEMA project? How does that work? Sheriff Ford, is that legal? FBI, is that legal? Can mayors be vendors to construction companies that they voted for after the city gets $100 million of FEMA money? Is that legal, guys? I mean, we'd like to know. WMBB, Tom Lewis says, look, he said it's all right.
At City Hall, North Florida Construction was awarded the bid. They asked us to quote some material. We quoted it. We agreed to do a direct purchase agreement with the city to save the tax savings.
We requested the bid and the contract with North Florida Construction, and we received all 178 pages. Lucas also expressed concerns about transferring money from one line to
My bad. They said 178 pages. I got 178 pages, so we both got the same amount of pages. All right, so I corrected that.
another.
They're commonly done. It's not, as long as you don't over budget or spend something, especially on capital expenses that weren't budgeted, then you have to do budget amendments.
In her statement, Lucas also claims former finance director Debbie McLeod and former city administrators Doug Baber and Michael Manning worked behind the scenes to keep the new mayor in the dark about the city's finances. Cathey is defending the employees.
Dedicated people to...
So I want you to notice this. This is so sneaky. So the finance director that was hired for, that was only there for 51 days recently, she said she saw former city administrator Doug Baber and assistant city administrator Michael Manning keep her in the dark. She claims under oath that she saw that happen, that they kept the finances, the financial records, her access to the online financial records. He kept it from her. And he's told her that they were keeping it from her and to stay away from her. That's what she says under oath. Does he answer that? No. All he does is say, how dare anybody badmouth all the hard-working people? You know, that ain't no kind of answer where I'm from. That ain't no kind of answer. Well, you do sons of guns bad-mouthing us here in Mexico Beach. How could you bad-mouth the hard-working people? Doug Baber and Michael Manning is who you're talking about here? What about Mario Gisbert before that? These are the hard-working people. You can't badmouth. You're a scumbag if you question what a finance director says under oath. You're just a scumbag to badmouth our hardworking city administrators who are late on audits and have internal control problems on audits. There's no invoices. And the ones that we find turned out they went to the former mayor. But you're a scumbag for questioning the hardworking people in Mexico Beach. And there are hardworking people in Mexico Beach. We're talking about the city administrator and the assistant city administrator who resigned suddenly and went to work together in another city in Florida. Don't act like this isn't worth asking questions about, Al. This, whether you did anything illegal or not, Al, remains to be seen. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't look good when the mayor's also the vendor. And then when people ask questions that are legitimate questions, your answer is, shouldn't be bad-mouthing the hardworking people around here. That doesn't, reasonable people are going to look at you and say, that seems kind of shady. Now, I don't know if the FBI is going to do that or not, or the sheriff's office. They don't seem to have a problem with it. But ordinary, regular people do. And we're going to keep asking questions about why mayors are also vendors after they get $100 million from FEMA. Capiche?
To repair,
look, watch how he does this.
As long as you don't over budget or spend something, especially on capital expenses that weren't budgeted, then you have to do budget amendments.
In her statement,
Here it
Lucas
comes.
also claims former finance director Debbie McLeod and former city administrators Doug Baber and Michael Manning worked behind the scenes to keep the new mayor in the dark about the city's finances. Cathey is defending the employees.
Dedicated people to repair, replace, put our city back together, financially, infrastructure-wise. And when I see others that now are in office, specifically the mayor, who so blatantly takes so lightly all of the hard work and the position that she has found our city in, and disregard that, I can't not speak for them.
In Mexico Beach, Courtney Evans, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
He's just defending
To read that sworn statement, a written statement from Doug Baber, the gazebo bid and contract, you can go to our website, mypanhandle.com.
All right. So, by the way, what WMBB posted, the 178 pages, is all garbled. I first looked at it and I thought, what the hell is this? They didn't download it properly. But, yeah, it's just, how could you badmouth the hardworking people? So what if the mayor is also the vendor? They're hardworking folks. And to question if any of that money might have been appropriated not as efficiently as it could or the right way, well, what business is the way we do it around here?
It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan can make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at PCAirrepair.com.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
All right, I'm not going to drone on and on. That's what I wanted you to see. Did I show you one of the contracts? Okay, so one of the invoices, here's one of the invoices that came in those 178 pages. You see at the very top there, Cathey's Ace Hardware. And at the very bottom, the last number, it says total invoice $30,677.40. So that's just one of, appears to be hundreds of invoices where the city of Mexico Beach was paying the mayor's Ace Hardware store because the mayor was also a vendor while he was the mayor. That's what these invoices look like. This one was for the pavilion, and it's dated December, right before Christmas. That's nice. December 20th, 2021. All right. There's also invoices from 2022 and 2023. So still looking into it. I hope I'm not the only one. WMBB says, looks all good to us. Hey, I also want to thank, of course, the Unknown Patriot for your support. As always, more to follow on this story and lots of others. But I'm going to look at your comments. I'm eager to see your comments. What you think about this. Isn't this weird? Isn't it weird that the Panama City Beach mayor is also the concert promoter that gets tons of tax money? And then we're feels like we're being gaslighted. Like, this is normal. I tell people about this who don't live here, and they're like, what? Yeah. I say around here, the sheriff and everybody says it's okay.